How's that? So
That
yeah,
sounds good.
so we just posted the case study to the chat for anybody who's new, hasn't been here the last 2 weeks. If you want any of the prompts from the last 2 weeks, just to try them out and everything, just let me know. Again, I am Aaron Whitberger from the Bluegrass IIBA chapter, and our expert here today has been leading us for through this 4 week process is Van Miller.
Hi,
Um,
everyone.
who's really taken in that AI for business analysis. So I see Angie made it again. So number 151. Hmm. So do that, especially number 151. If you put your full name in the chat or on your name, so you could bring up the participants list and hover over your name on the right, you'll get the three dots and you can rename yourself or over your picture in the main thing. You just hover over your picture. You'll get the three dots in the upper right corner and rename yourself just so you get credit for being here today. So number 151, you need to rename yourself for I don't know who you are. So with that, Van, I believe you said we were getting into traceability today.
Yeah, we start off with we're gonna do some diagramming. We're gonna have the AI try to do a diagram for us. We didn't do that last week. Um, and then we will uh uh go from there. I think that's where we want to start
Okay.
is
So um, if you have been here one or two of the last weeks in that, you got a chat going on with your um, Gen UI. You can rejoin that chat and it remembers everything for the last 1 or 2 weeks. That so it's got the document, it's got what it has given you before and everything, and we just continue on from there. If not, you can upload the document, and then we are going to be uploading prompts. So as we've said,
okay.
this is not a demonstration. This is not you just sitting there and watch Van do this. We want you to do it. This is where, if you've been a little hesitant at using AI, if you think AI is going to take your job and you don't want to learn it, um, this is your opportunity to really learn it and learn all the different things you can get. Think of
Hmm.
AI as just an assistant. Um, I've started writing a new book and I'm using AI to do editing and things like that for me. Um, so, um, use it as an assistant and think of it as an intern. You could give it a job to do, but you always want to check its results. And, as I've said in the last 2 weeks, um, you will not get replaced by AI, but you may get replaced by a BA who knows how to use AI. So don't get left in the dust. Use it. It's a tool. That's all it is. Just like many of the tools that you use, and that this is just a very powerful one that could really assist in a lot of your business analysis tasks. Develop some artifacts, some diagramming Van says we're getting into today.
Hmm.
Um, so use it. And so this is an opportunity to actually learn how to use it and everything. So it's going to be based on this case study. Um, we're doing insurance. This is a claims notification system, right? Uh,
Hmm.
so that's what we're doing. So you probably in your life have filed a insurance claim. So if you don't even work in the insurance industry, like Van and I do, um, you certainly have the customer experience of having dealt with a claim and how difficult was it to get notification or get status update on your claim and everything. So we're going to automate this process for the insurance company to, um, give better and more frequent, more accurate, um, notifications to their policyholders on claim status changes. So they're more informed and they will love us.
Absolutely. Yep. And yeah, they want us to be their insurance carrier. And like you, Leah, one of the key things is it's a big pain point right now in this case study. Big pain point. It is costing the company, time, money, etc., and it's keeping them from doing other things because they're spending so much time dealing with claims. Then some of that stuff could be streamlined and better. So, that being said, what we're going to do today, we left off last week. We had created some user stories. We created a traceability matrix. I was going to start off this week with starting to do a swim lane diagram of some of the processes. So we can start with that. Now, what I want to say on this one is I'm going to be using Copilot to do this diagram. Copilot in my experience, isn't the greatest at doing diagrams. We're going to see what it does, though. Um, and to some extent, depending on where you work and what options you have, you might not be allowed to take your company information and put it out to some other GPT where it could be shared. Might have to use, like me, I have to use Copilot. I can't take our company information and put it somewhere else because it's not safe. But it's still going to give me a result. I'm interested to see from you guys what kind of results you get when you do this same prompt. And maybe we'll share that a little bit. I'll show you what I get. We'll see what we get. Might be good, might be bad, but we'll get a result. So I'll share my screen and we'll start. And please follow along with me on whatever GPT you're using, and we'll see what kind of results you get. This is where it gets it'll get very interesting when it tries to do visual representations of information. You can get some funky results, but we'll see.
And what Ben was talking about there about your company information getting out into the public is if you're using one of the free versions of a Gen AI, um, your responses and everything, or your prompts and all that are used to retrain the model. So what's underneath that is called a large language model. And your responses and everything are used to train to increase the knowledge of the large language model. So if you're putting out there proprietary information from your company, then that can get out in the public domain, as Van said. Um, so we at
Yep,
our company, and Van and I are coworkers, so we work for the same company. And second company we actually work together as.
that's right.
um, in our company, we have a in-house instance of Copilot, and that is what Van is using, so he can confidently tell it anything and know that it's not going to get out into the general public.
Yeah, very important. And if you can imagine this case study was for Aaron and Mai's company. If we put that out on a shared GPT, like or on one of the free GPTs where it's shared with the world, people could see that, oh, Cincinnati Insurance has a big claims problem. It would be information that's out there, right or wrong. In this case, it'd be right, and they would be right. And I don't think that our CEOs and officers would want that to be common information that anybody could get at. So,
Let me correct that, man. This is not from our company.
no, this is not from our company. Absolutely. I mean, if it was, so, and this is completely
Yeah,
made up,
so
total fiction.
it's it's a common problem that many insurance companies have, and why they want to automate processes and that. So,
Yeah,
um, but
yeah,
I don't work in the claims area. I don't believe Van does either.
I do
So
not directly.
this was
Nope.
uh, this was not written, from our company's perspective or any current initiative that we have going on. Although we always got things going on in our claims department, so um, but no, this has nothing to do with our company, itself.
All right. Well, what I'll do first is just to follow along. So what we always, in my case, I have to upload the case study each time because my enterprise version of Copilot only keeps a couple days worth of conversations. So I'll just have it reload up the case study again. So add that to our conversation.
So if you didn't see him use the little plus sign at the
Yep.
left of where it says, he used that and said, search my computer, went and found the case study where he had it saved, and is uploading that. So your Gen AI can read PDFs, it can read Word documents. Um, I don't know, it has problems with Excel spreadsheets, doesn't it? Or it can read those too.
It can
So,
read them. You know what? If you take the Excel and you export it to a comma separated variable and bring it back in, it may work a little bit better depending on what you want to do with it.
okay.
So sometimes if you help it a little bit, it can interpret it better than
So
if you just feed it straight in. Uh,
you could
but you just have to kind
always
of play with it.
Yeah, you could always upload a document and just ask your generative AI, can you read this?
Hmm.
And it'll tell you if it's got full access to it, if it can absolutely read it, or if it cannot. I've pointed Gen AI at certain websites I have found out there in the web and said, do you have access to this? Or it may have a PDF version of something out there. And I'll say, can you get the PDF from this site? And it'll say whether it has access to it or not, because some sites can block AI from getting access to content on their websites.
Hmm.
So, um, so you could just point it to a website. You can upload a document and say, "Can you read this?" And see how it responds.
Absolutely. It likes PDFs too. In general, AI, if you can put something in a PDF and upload it, does a pretty good job of understanding what that is, at least in my experience. Um, so we've added the case study. Now we're going to put our first prompt in there. And if you don't mind it, Aaron putting the first prompt out into the chat, I'll
I
put it in
did.
here. Nice. Thank you for doing that. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to create a swim lane diagram of
All
our
right.
claim status notification workflow.
I was on prompt 7. Where are you?
Oh, I'm on prompt 8. I thought we were starting off at 8.
No, let's go back to 7.
Or let me back up then. I digress. Okay, let's back up.
Yeah, I was wondering why we were talking about
Oh, I'm talking about
on
diagrams.
diagrams and that. I go, we're supposed to start with traceability.
Oh, all right. I'm
I
happy
don't
to
think we
do
did
that.
7 last week. I'm pretty sure we didn't. Hey, Tim, I see you turned your camera on. Nice to see you.
Let's do 7. That's no problem.
We'll
So,
see you Thursday. Tim is going to be a panelist on a panel discussion on Thursday. It's a 5:30 p.m. Eastern time in that. So Tim is in Wisconsin, and we are hosting a panel discussion on day in the life of a BA, and there's going to be plenty of students in that room for you, Tim, um, from the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, where we're going to introduce them to the BA profession. A lot of these students, the last time we did something similar to this with Western Kentucky University, many of those students had no idea that there was such a profession as business analysis. So, really opening their eyes. So, it's on our website if you would like to join. It's a 3-person panel discussion hosted actually on the campus at University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, and plenty of students. There's going to be professors there. So if you want to hear that conversation, join us on Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be 4:30 p.m. for them because they're in Central. Sorry, Van, go ahead.
it's all right. So, what I'll do here is one of the things in that prompt 7 is it refers back to user stories that were created before, which in my case are no longer there. But I think it'll probably make some new user stories anyway, even if we don't have the previous ones we built last week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. In my case, I'm going to say create a requirement traceability matrix from this claim study that links the business objectives, user stories, functional requirements, system components, and test scenarios. So we'll kick that off. It's going to do it kind of based on just the case study, and it's going to have to derive all that stuff. We'll see what it comes up with.
Yeah, Janet said we did traceability last week, so you were
No worries.
more in point than I was.
Hey, maybe you might have had to bow out. You might have been like, I'm getting too hungry. I gotta stop. I gotta have some lunch. That's all right. We'll see what it gives us here real quick, and then we'll move on since I think we might have covered it. So here we go. It's thinking. Uh, yeah, I know you'd love my feedback. It's okay. Come on now. If we get anything, come on. It's not giving me the arrows to be able to go up and down. Let me see. There it is. Couldn't see it for the sharing screen. Me too. 11.
Excuse me, Aaron. Do we go ahead and put in the prompt that you put in the chat?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
You're doing the traceability one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So
Yep.
if you need to upload the document
Yep.
and put in that prompt, and you could do it both in the same action, use the plus sign, upload the document, put in the prompt in the prompt area,
Mm-hmm.
hit enter or send it up. Um, and you should get results similar to this. Similar, but not exactly. Hey,
Yeah,
Scott, nice to see you again.
so we asked it for business objectives. We asked it for system components. It's put them in a little bit different order. It's giving us constraints, user stories. There we go. A bunch of user stories, some functional requirements, test scenarios, and then it puts it into a matrix. Not too bad considering, we're not giving it a ton of context. We're sort of uh, so one of the key things that we ask for is format as a table, shows bidirectional traceability. So we'll take a look at my table here. Come on now. Come on now. There we go. So we get a table that looks like this with the functional requirements. It's a big table. Now, let me ask you guys this. Does anybody else get some results that look like this? What did you get? Does anybody want to share what they got for their result? And we'll take a look at them.
Yeah, I can share mine.
That'd be great. I'll stop sharing. Mhm. Are you still there, Steven?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to
No worries.
cooperate with me.
You know that there's a little, it should be a little green square down at the bottom that says share. If you, I'm not sure how much you use Zoom. I mostly use Teams, so I'm not super Zoom uh, knowledgeable either.
Yeah, put mine in a table as well. So it looked a lot like yours. Just
Curious about people's experience about asking for 5, asking for 10, asking for 15. Like, do you get quality at 5? Do you get quality at 10? Do you get diminishing return at 15? Like, I'm just curious what people have found when they work.
Yeah, I mean, I've found that mm, the more generally the if you ask for more, it's usually better. Sometimes if you ask for less, it skips over things. Like it doesn't, from my experience, it doesn't necessarily know from your, what are the most important, 5 things. Like you might think, like if you had a list of 20 things and you look down through them and said, okay, what are the top 5 hitters? I'd put those at the top as the most important. I haven't really seen it be that smart. It'll give you 5. They'll just be like the first 5 it thinks of, like there won't, I have not seen a rhyme or reason to that necessarily. Now, different GPTs might act different. I'm mostly familiar with Copilot.
Yep.
Um, what I usually do just as knowing that, just kind of knowing that from my experience, I usually ask for more. Um, it is a good idea to ask for a number because sometimes if you don't ask for anything, it might just give you 5, and there might be 15 more that it doesn't even tell you about. So you sometimes you have to be a little bit, do additional prompts and things like that. Say, hey, show me. If it shows you 5, say, hey, are there any more? Show me, 15 or something like that. And then you kind of might have to sort them out as far as which ones are more important. That's my experience anyway. I don't know if other people have had other experience.
So Scott, I have not done a comparison, of asking for 5 versus 15 of the quality you would get between them. I have here recently, for the Bluegrass chapter, I've asked Claude to give me 5 LinkedIn posts that I can post for the chapter. And you're going to see them starting tomorrow. They're kind of trivia type questions about Kentucky, the Bluegrass IIBA, business analysis in general, just polls that you can answer and just play along with us. Um, but after I got 5 and that I said, okay, give me 5 more, and it gave me 5 more, and they were just as good quality and everything as the original 5. And that I'm sure at some point it'll get a diminishing return, but there's a lot of trivia questions you can ask. Um, so you know, don't have a direct answer for you, but I think it's
No, no, I appreciate your candidness. it's reflecting everything I'm seeing. So I just was curious.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Gotcha.
for anyone else out there, if you look at Bluegrass IIBA, look at we got both a company page and a profile. Look at the profile, look at our posts and everything. We got one going on right now called Food Madness, which March Madness is going on, and that our current game is game 2. We got apple pie versus pumpkin pie. Vote for your best. And in game 1, Skyline Chili beat out Gold Star Chili. So we got the tournament brackets and everything. We're going to play, 6, 7 games to get a winner. So just a fun activity to do. And right now, I looked at it this morning and think apple pie is winning.
Can everyone see my screen okay?
I
Yes,
can,
we
yeah.
can.
See it. So hey, so it's got a business objective, user story, functional requirement numbers that are traced back and forth.
Yeah, the business objectives and the user stories referenced.
Yeah, I saw those references on mine too, Stephen.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, it picked up Twilio as the SMS.
And just give me some additional options.
Yep, always cool. Yeah, sometimes
Good.
those make sense and are good to do. I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks like it would trace back and forth. I mean, you'd have to get it out and download it and, really study it to know. But I tell you what, it gives you a pretty good starting point. I mean, imagine, you're trying to build a traceability matrix, and if you have some of your user stories already defined, you could, kind of add them to the conversation, things like that. So, pretty good. It gives a pretty good result. Uh, Kind of similar, I think, to what Aaron and I have as our result. So not bad. It knows what a traceability matrix is. It knows how to make it, how to reference within it, the different objects, and uh, pretty good for this is the type of work that we do. Um, so, uh,
Um, Janet says she's got interesting results. She'll
oh
share.
yeah, show us your results, Janet, if you don't mind. Sure.
All right, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I need to zoom in at all?
Yes, you do.
Maybe a little bit, but
All right, so
There we go.
this is my Gemini. So I'm
mm-hmm.
running these in Gemini and Claude just for fun. You'll see it kind of blurs out on the side because it's got this kind of awkward table going in here.
Yeah.
So we've just, we've got the basics here, nothing really particularly exciting. Of course, it's got links to the PDFs and whatnot. I can export it to Sheets. I got this really weird diagram, not 100% sure what it's actually supposed to mean.
That's
But
that's funky.
that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is when I did it in Claude. Let me zoom in on this. So I've got my prompt. Do this in chat, not a document. It keeps trying to write everything into a docx. So I'm telling it not to.
Oh, okay.
But so here's what's interesting. So we've got our traceability structure. It goes through our first business objective. It goes through the user stories, test scenarios, and all that. It goes through another objective, another objective, another objective. So there's a whole lot more in here. I am using Opus 4.6 extended. So it's giving us the best possible stuff. But here's what I thought was really interesting. I've got this cross-reference summary. So it has the business objectives across the top, and then it's got all the user stories, and then it's marking the primaries for each of these, and then supporting. So this user story supports other business objectives as well.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And then down at the bottom, it's pointing out the business objective 1 has the most primary mappings, makes sense as the headline objective. So it provides a little bit of analysis also on this particular part. So yeah, that was what I thought was interesting.
So Janet, is Claude your friend?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm I was on the Claude bandwagon quite some time ago, and I actually did I shut off my ChatGPT subscription, not as one of the massive people who've been canceling it, just because I've been getting tired of the results that it's giving me, since Chat just likes to talk forever about things without providing useful information. I find Claude is much more useful.
Hmm. Yeah, Claude is pretty good, and there's a uh, as far as GPTs goes, it's probably it's and for a lot of for many things it'll perform better than uh, the other ones. But the other one, they're all still pretty powerful though. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm a
that's why
fan of
I
Claude too.
actually I have a subscription to Gemini as well. I have one with Perplexity that I don't use anymore because of the terms and services change that they made a couple months ago, where you're not allowed to use it for anything professional if you only have a pro subscription. So
Hmm.
Claude's my go-to.
Gotcha.
Yes, I like Claude too. I call him my buddy.
My buddy
Didn't write
Claude.
this along. Me and my buddy wrote this.
There we go. All right. Now let's see. I was thinking maybe we want to move on and do a little
Yeah,
diagramming
we
next.
do.
Does anybody else have questions or anything they want to show regarding traceability, uh, matrix, or anything like that? The stuff that we just showed. All
I
right.
just have a general question on what she had said using Claude. And maybe we said it earlier in the discussion, but
Hmm.
do you have to have the paid prescription for Claude? I just have like a paid prescription to ChatGPT, and I echo what she says. That gives you maybe way too much more information than you need. So I just wanted to have a little insight on that. I did hear if you wanted to do anything in code, you want to get the Pro subscription. And if you want to start looking at stored procedures for SQL or something like that, but you could just give me a little hint if you needed the subscription or not.
That part, I'm as far as Claude goes, or Claude, I call it Claude, but um, as far as Claude goes, I don't know the ins and outs of it. Um, I don't use it necessarily. I might use it personally just on the free version or something, but I don't use it for work at all. Um, and it's not something that's in my environment for work, so I'm not an expert in it. So I don't know. I've just seen the results that it gives and been to classes and seen how it works, and I really like the results that it gives and talking to people. But I don't know all the ins and outs of a pro subscription versus a regular user subscription versus the free one. I assume the free one, just like all the free ones, it's going to share your information, whatever you're doing in there, with its own model, like Aaron is describing. It's going to use your fresh to train the model. So, free version, I wouldn't do anything professional on that I didn't want shared. Um, and I don't know about the paid ones. What kind of? I really don't know the security behind it. Um, so you might want to do that if you're going to do anything professional with it. Understand, even if you buy the professional version, is your data safe? Especially if you're a consultant or something like that. If you put some of your client's info in there, is it safe? Would your client even agree to do that? You would want to check that out. Anything else? All right.
Diagramming.
Diagram. Let's try doing a diagram and see what we get. And if anybody's using Claude, I think you'll get really good results with Claude using for diagrams. Um, that's one of the places where it kind of shines. So we're going to do it in Copilot, which is probably the worst. Well, I shouldn't say it. It's probably one of the big tools, probably the least one that does great diagrams. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that change in the near future because I'm sure they realize that. So what we'll do is, um, if you don't mind, put the diagramming prompt out there, Aaron, and we'll put that into our conversation.
Boy, I'm getting a lot back from it. Gave me step-by-step textual thing. Now it's an error handling. It's describing the swim lane. It's still writing.
Yeah, mine's thinking as well. So we'll see what we get
I
here.
didn't think it didn't give me a diagram. It gave me textual.
All text so far, no diagram. We may have
Yeah,
to
and
Same with me.
still
it's
thinking.
done.
We're asking a lot.
So I'm going to tell it to draw the swim lane diagram.
Would you like a visual?
No one's sharing if that was.
Creating an image.
There we go.
Taking a little while.
Mine's creating an image as well. Hey, you know what? It is funny. Mine went through that whole bit too and didn't create a diagram until the end. It's like, hey, do you want to create some kind of visual diagram? So, it didn't do that right off the bat.
Look and see. Yeah, mine didn't even ask.
Yeah, it's giving me some options here. It says I can also generate a BPMN 2.0 XML version, a
Okay.
vision ready outline, and a sequence diagram version. But none of those
Sequence
respond.
diagram. Ooh. Yeah,
Should I put
that's
another
you
prompt to
could.
ask for like a visual diagram?
Yeah, that's something that you could probably ask it to do all of those one by one and see how it does. Here, my turn to share.
Oh, there we go. Let's see what you got.
So it did find, I had to ask it right up there to draw me the swim lane diagram, but it gave me all of this. Um, there's the prompt. This is right there. That's what's in the chat and everything. And then here's, you know, Claude's response, and it got into everything. So it tells me which 6 swim lanes it's going to put into diagram, um, what the trigger is to start the process, step-by-step process flow gets right into there, you know, it really describing in textual form, the entire process and how it goes from one swim lane to another and retrieve the customer data decision point. So it's going to put a diagram or a diamond in that. If yes, if no, send notification service lane. So we're air handling there, got into air handling. So you can see, gave me a ton of stuff
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
that
good.
all text and everything and very big. So what's this? System interaction summary. The system to the role.
That's
Why
pretty
this
neat.
process works well. If you'd like, I can also create okay, so it did ask. It can, the next business analysis artifacts typically producing case studies such as future state process improvements, BPMN. Stephen said BPM in
Mm-hmm.
diagram, um, business rule catalog, sequence diagram. Hey, I got it too, Stephen. Event
Okay,
driven
cool.
architectural model. And then I
Event-driven
had to tell it,
architecture.
draw me the swim lane. And I don't know if I can make this any bigger. Yeah. So there's the 6 swim lanes and everything. So it actually drew me one. And I haven't gone to see, I'm sure that this matches the text that it gave me too. So very interesting.
It told me I can absolutely draw the swim lane diagram for you, but since I can't generate images directly, I'll give you a diagram style AC rendering that visually represents the swim lanes and workflow. So it's like in a text form and not like an image.
Which tool are you using, Stephen?
Copilot, but I'm using the free version, so I don't know if that's
Okay.
Hmm, it can.
Yeah, Van had remarked about Copilot's visual capabilities.
Its visuals aren't great. I can show you guys what I got from it, just if you want to see, just for a different one out of Copilot. I'll show you what we got. Eh, the text is really good. The diagram you get, and maybe different ones are better. Um, here's the diagram that I get when I do that, which it's not terrible. You got the customer, the claimant, you got the claims adjuster, you got the notification service, you got CRM over here, the Salesforce, not bad. And then it's got these things that it cut off a little bit. I'm not sure what those are, but they've got the different actions. It's starting to get a little bit off track because of over here. If you see under the CRM part, customer taxes action. I don't think we had anything about taxes in our case study. Um, some of it's good, some of it's bad. So I mean, it'll build you something. It's getting into some hallucination down here too. If you see this, I'm not sure what that is.
It's
So, meh, it's a diagram. Would it be harder to
what
take?
I
Would it be
got.
harder to just to fix this than it would be just to build one from scratch? I don't know. Maybe somebody else got better results, but anyway.
Is your diagram editable? Like, could you actually?
I downloaded it. You could probably upload it into something else as a PDF and maybe edit it. One
Yeah,
thing,
I think it's a PDF, so it's not
yeah,
very editable.
not really.
Not a
Only,
Visio file.
yeah, it's definitely not. And right now, as far as I know, Copilot doesn't have an add-in for Visio, last I heard. Because that's one of the things that we kind of really wanted to do at our company is across the whole Microsoft Office suite, Office 365, that whole suite of tools, integrate AI with it. And AI integrates with most of those tools. Visio, as far as I know, it still does not integrate with. And it may be because of some of these difficulties, like it's probably having a hard time being able to generate, really good Visios out of AI. So
I
anyway, it
will
gives you
say,
something. If this
I
was
will say,
simpler, it might work better, you know.
I will say, Van, that I had Copilot produce a diagram for me. It was a process flow diagram, but not a swim lane.
Mm-hmm.
And or actually, it was a swim lane because it got some of the processes in the wrong swim lane. So it did not do all that fantastic. And it was easier for me to just build it from scratch than to repair what Copilot built. So I just went and did it from scratch.
Yeah, that's unfortunately kind of been my experience as well with when you get into complicated diagrams. Simple things it can do, something like this, it may not be quite where it needs to be yet. But maybe other GPTs are. But still, it's worth a try. How much time did it take you to do this? Took you, whatever, 3 minutes to do this. If it gave you a good starting point, maybe it'd be okay. Or maybe it makes you think of something that you didn't already think of. That might be good too. And I can tell you this as well. This is something that we're just starting in my company. Is we've got an AI add-in to our mural, which is a collaboration slash diagramming tool. So maybe things like that might be more suited for building these type of diagrams. Like if you had a diagramming tool that's got an AI add-in that's already part of it, it could maybe help you do something like this better and generate a diagram through a conversation. But anyway, I'll stop sharing. So it's not terrible. I haven't had great luck with it, but that doesn't mean don't try it. Uh, does anybody else have anything from their diagrams that they want to share, talk about? And most importantly, did anybody get a result that just looks really good? That's like, oh man, this thing is pretty dang close, and I might even think about using it. Very interested to hear that.
Bam wants to know which tool you're using.
Yes, we're going to want to use that tool. All right.
I can share what I got.
Yeah, please do.
All right. So Claude is text only. So I got a great big long series of text with all sorts of steps in it and whatnot. But Gemini though, Gemini is one of the best because it's got Nano Banana in it. They're great at doing images. So I did the prompt in both of them, and Gemini gave me the swim lane description in about 500 words. Claude's was about 3,500.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then so nice and short. Then I asked it for the swim lane diagram, and this is the horrific result that it gave me.
Oh
It
my
actually
God.
gave me
Ooh, that's rough.
it gave me two. Although the funny thing is, in a separate chat with Gemini, I said, here's the description Claude gave me. Now put this in a swim lane diagram, and this one is better. And one of the things that I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but like, of course, it won't zoom in enough. It's pretty much all English. It's not
Oh, it
gobbledygook
didn't have any
letters.
yeah, like mine had some
Yeah,
some random text kind of.
Gemini's a whole lot better at creating actual English on things. But again, it's an image, so you can't move things around or whatever. But
Yeah.
like you said, I think it's mostly good for ideation for things like that at this point.
I think so. Yeah, it could, like it might show you a lane that you hadn't considered, and be like, "Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that being a lane, but it is," something like that. So, it might have some decisions in there, decision points too that you didn't think of. So even though the whole thing might not be perfect, you might get some stuff out of it. I think that's one of the big uh one of the things I find most useful about AI is it shows me stuff that I didn't think of. So that's very good. And whether that's in a diagram or whether that's in text, it's good.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
one of the things I've found really helpful, like if I was actually working on this, what I would probably do, since looking at my Claude description, it's a lot longer than what Gemini actually drew. I'd probably download that image, feed it back into Claude, and say, here's the swim lane diagram I'm working with. What's missing that you told me should be in here? Because while it can't render an image, it can read an image really well.
Mm-hmm. You could definitely do that. You could have a conversation about it within Claude. Mm-hmm. It's a good idea. And you definitely go back and forth between the two and
Yeah, pit
compare the
them against each
results.
other.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's a good idea. Good technique. Anybody else got anything?
I tried to create a version that I can open in Draw.io, so I'm trying to try it out, see if it works, but we'll see.
All right.
I'm in
So,
Copilot and it's trying to give me a PowerPoint. It's
I'll give you a
trying
PowerPoint.
to, yeah.
That was an option I had in Copilot too. It might be able to build you a PowerPoint, okay? Like a Power PP, I think that's PPTX is the file type on that. Um, hmm. in which case you could upload that into PowerPoint, or you could just open it with PowerPoint and see what you get. It might be good. It may be better than what I created. I don't know. Still,
Nope, didn't come out. I've
okay.
I've created really great PowerPoints. I mean, like unbelievable just from a couple of sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't go over so well.
Yeah, it's tough. Making these diagrams and things, images of diagrams with Copilot, we haven't had a ton of luck with it. But eh, you know, maybe it'll get better in the future. Um, all right. Anything else before we move on to the next prompt? All right, we got about 7 minutes left. Let's see. The next thing we could do is uh one of the things we had talked about was doing a mermaid code diagram of this. That's our next prompt. Um, we can probably do that if you guys want to do that. So let's put that one out there. So we're gonna take our process and convert it to a mermaid diagram syntax. Now, what mermaid is it's like a text uh, syntax for creating diagrams. I have not used it personally, but we're going to assume that GPTs know what it is, and we'll try creating a mermaid
I thought it
diagram.
was half fish, half woman that swam in.
I don't know where the name comes from. Hard to say.
Oh, now this particular one, there's something there in the parentheses, paste description from prompt 8.
Oh,
So
whoops. Let's do
yeah, so
that.
you want to delete that out, and then after the prompt, just take that whole response, not the whole response, but the description of the swim lane diagram part, um, from the response that you got back in the previous prompt, and paste it, after that. So what I'm doing here, I'll show you. What I'm doing with this. Yeah. So I got the prompt in there. I will take out what it says in the parentheses. And then I'm going to come up here, and I don't have to put it all in. But where it's talking about lanes and steps, process start. Okay. So we're going to start here and see if it's going to grab it all for me. Come on. Keep going. So there's lane 4, 5, 6. Optional step. What's underneath that? Process end. So I guess I will go to process end. So I'm going to copy all that. I think it's the control enter. No, it's the alt enter. Okay, well, you know what? It knows.
It will know from your conversation.
Yeah, from the conversation, I guess I don't even really have to paste it in. Now I can't get this thing small. But but you saw it was building code, and it's actually going to produce a mermaid file for me to download, or it has in the past. Process
It will
in.
see what you get. I'm doing it with mine now too. It's thinking about it.
I'm going to wait for it. Trying to get this thing small again, and yeah, I think that's what happened to me here. It's thinking, why this bar?
It may even be a little confused.
Yeah, because after it started responding, I tried to paste in the thing. I didn't put it with the prompt. There, it finished. And my little thing went. So there.
There we go. See what you get.
Wow.
Now the question is, how good is it? Let's see. Man.
Claims adjuster. Yeah, that's, and you see the download thing over there on the right. So I could download this thing. So you could paste this directly into a Mermaid Life Editor, GitHub, Notion, or other Mermaid enabled tool to generate the visual diagram. But yeah, that's got the integration layer. Quite different diagram than what we're used to. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
call that a
is.
swim lane diagram. Okay. Someone else share.
I can share what I got. Hang on, I'll download it and we'll open it up. Just a sec. Okay. So I'll share my screen. And you should see this. Okay. You know, I, in my case, what I did was I copy pasted the description of the uh, swim lane diagram into the conversation again, and then I asked it to create a mermaid diagram with syntax, swim lane diagram with all the actors, etc. Looks very similar to what I got before, which in a way is good. It's consistent. So it built this, I think maybe what, in my case, what it did before, it may have used Mermaid before just as the default anyway, because this looks almost the same. There might be some small difference in it, but this
Yeah.
is that's what I got.
All right. We are out of time, Van.
Oh,
We're
I'll
got
stop
some
sharing.
people running off to business meetings.
That we are. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Sorry about that. That's all right. So we meet one more time next week. We're just going to play around with stuff a little bit more. Maybe talk about some gap analysis, things like that, and how it can help with that. And then we'll, if you have questions or anything or things you want to discuss, bring them next week.
All right. Thank you
Thanks.
very much, everyone. Really appreciate you joining us. Join us again next week. As Van says, we'll get into gap analysis and possibly impact analysis. So, doing a lot more than diagramming and requirements. It helps BAs with a lot of our tasks and
Yeah.
that we have to create. So, join us again tomorrow or next week will be our last session with this case study. We do these case studies in a 10 or 15-minute segment at the beginning of our chapter meetings on the third Wednesday of each month. Now, this in March, we are not doing it. We're having a panel discussion this coming Thursday instead of Wednesday, hosted at the University of Wisconsin in Oshkosh, like we were talking with Tim about. And so that is our chapter meeting for the month. We're hosting with Oshkosh as well as the Wisconsin IIBA chapter, so we will not do this activity, but we will do it in April. And I've got that one written, Van. Government permit application system.
Okay.
So
Okay.
going to do that next month and at some point we will do another one of these 3 or 4 week processes where we could do it, have a lot more than just 10 minutes to really break this down and do multiple prompts and all kinds of things just like this. Also, Van will be doing one of our 4 or 5 case studies that we have on our
Hmm.
May Chief Unleash Your Potential conference. So, and he'll be doing this the same activity where get the audience to actually do it, and that so, and he gets to pick which case study he wants to use. I think he has them all. So he'll
Hmm.
be doing that in the conference. It's going to be an excellent conference. So join us for that. It is out on our website. Registration is open for it. So join us for that. So Van, anything else?
That's it. So that's all. Hey, thanks everybody for your time, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Have a great
All right.
week. See you Monday.
Bye.